Tanya? No, Tanya?
Something.
Tanya
Something
Red
unique.
is in Chicago.
Okay.
Says was the head of the library next door for a lot
Oh,
of
yeah?
years. Very special.
Okay.
Take 2 copies.
Take 2 copies with me. Or Shem Tov.
Oh, yeah.
Gonna have developed.
Right.
Thank you.
Okay, Shalom Aleichem. We'll be starting this week. It's let's call it a different type of shear. We'll try to combine, let's call it universal therapy, which is used, and let's try to use it for Hasidus.
What kind of therapy?
So there's, as therapy started, like we call the first generation was the Freudian theories, and then going down to the second generation, which is CBT, REBT, and so. And then came the third generation, which is a lot of models. One of the most popular ones is the model of ACT, which actually the founder, yes,
HCT?
he's actually a Yid, not a from one, but he's a Yid. So it's a very, how you call it, it's a very basic, sensible model, which the origins is being found in all kind of different Musar and Hasidus. So I'll just go over, let's try to use this model a little for Avodas Hashem, and we'll conclude with a mimer of the Alter Rebbe, the Balatanya, and Shovavim on a much higher level.
What's Shovavim?
So let's explain.
Okay.
So actually, this model came with 6 core processes. They call it therapeutic processes, which is we'll go over very briefly. I don't think we'll do justice with going over it. It's something which takes much longer and usually needs to be experienced. But I'll try my best in a short period of time as we could, and hopefully we'll get something out of it, something useful. So basically, the number one struggle, we'll use a metaphor of a person suffering, let's call, of depression, let's say. So this depression could be depression, just materialistic depression. People are, whatever they are depressed about, what circumstances life brought about them. And here could also be the person which is depressed about not fulfilling his duties in Avodas Hashem, is not really, he doesn't feel accomplished, he doesn't feel doing whatever he needs to do, so he's depressed, he's some sort of very heartbroken, very depressed, very non-motivated, not interested. And, the Avodas Hashem really goes with the kvedus, atzvus, it doesn't do whatever he needs to do in the time that really Avodas Hashem needs to be b'simcha, needs to be with happiness. It's the key element in Avodas Hashem. As the Rizal writes, he explains that the reason the Teichach comes if a person doesn't do Avodas Hashem b'simcha, and also the Alter Rebbe Tani explains that when a person doesn't have simcha, he can't win a battle. We all know Napoleon going back to his war. One of his tricks was having this music. He invested a lot in music, and he's all getting his army to be really motivated, happy, and therefore this was the trick and the secret of his main hatzlacha in his battles. So let's take this person. So when this person is depressed, whichever thoughts are showing up in his mind, we have a wonderful mind. Our mind is a very interesting mind. It's a machine, the most sophisticated machine Hashem made in a person's brain, which whatever we want to think, whatever we want to look for a solution, we just we use our thinking brain, which this is the frontal lobe, and we think about anything, and here comes right away all kind of solutions, all kind of information, whatever you want to think. Let's take a car service. It will come right away. Why use a car service? Use the train, use the bus, do that, walk, ride, all kind of information that our brain will throw right away. And same, we will also say that instead of taking a car service, you know what? Try Uber. I don't know, whatever or try the cheaper or whatever. Take a hitch or something. And so, with any other dilemmas or issue that comes up, and the same is also usual when a person feels that sometimes the mind throws certain, depressing thoughts as well. And when it comes to doing avodas Hashem, you won't succeed. You didn't succeed yesterday. You won't succeed tomorrow. Whatever. These all kind of issues that's coming up, and the person right away starts becoming very uncomfortable. He feels like very uncomfortable, and there is the need of the person to start battling, fighting with it, because it's against our nature. We want to feel successful. We want to feel good. We want to feel good about ourselves, and these depressing thoughts is really disturbing us. I want to do something about it. So we start battling. The problem is the battle itself is part of the main problem.
Mhm.
Because when a person fights, he uses out all his energy. He gets so exhausted that he just can't. It's like, let's give a little metaphor. Here's a big hole outside in the street, and a blind person walks with his cane, and unfortunately he misses this part. He trips and he falls into this hole. It's very deep. It's like 30 feet deep. There's no way you can get out of it, but there's a plow over there. So naturally, what is a shovel? What will he naturally start doing? Digging. Right? Digging. So he starts digging.
You can order Uber Eats.
Yeah, I could try to do Uber if the phone works, but he's stuck there. So naturally, we'll take the shovel and start digging. Digs. Will it in any way help him? I don't think so. He can dig and dig and dig, but he won't get himself out of the 30 feet deep hole. So he's stuck over there. But he feels an urge. He doesn't see what's going on. He only knows that he's in a hole, and I have to get out of it. He takes the shovel, and he digs. What will you do when you are standing outside? You can't give him a helping hand. But the number one idea would be stop digging. Relax at least. Instead of using out all your energy, let's first relax. Let's first see what we could do in this circumstance. Maybe we can order Uber Eats and throw some food inside so he can still eat something and live the way he could the best in the circumstances. But anyway, battling.
You got a night off from your wife. You can think of the positive.
Yeah.
No? It's okay.
But digging won't do anything. So all these depressive thoughts, all these anxious thoughts that people suffer, and all the worries that people suffer, all those things are mainly the problem because the person is busy pushing it, fighting it. He's worrying, so he's looking for a solution. He's a fear of something, so what am I going to do? His head is falling off. He's thinking on this, obsessing on it the whole time. He's anxious. He's thinking constantly, what am I doing? What am I going to do? And it's that's human nature. We want to find a solution. But the problem is it's not helpful. Not only it's not helpful, but he can't even enjoy the present moment. Because nothing matters now. You're only busy. It's like a person taking his two hands. Just imagine taking your two hands and putting it in the front of your face. You're closing up everything. You're not able to see anything what's going on in the room. But as you spread apart your fingers, although it's still disturbing, but at least you can enjoy the room. You can enjoy what's going on. So the number one is, as you look on let's start with one of the process. Doesn't matter. It will be acceptance. So the person needs to notice, here is the problem, here is the issue. Now let's accept it. How much are we going to fight it? How much are we ready to make room for those painful, uncomfortable feelings? Yes, it is uncomfortable. Yes, it is painful. But let's make room for it. Let's just get some room and allow ourselves to have different experiences in this room. There's more to go. There's many more experiences in this room, and why only be busy with this upsetting thoughts? Let's just enjoy something else. So this will be the number one, acceptance. Now, acceptance is a very long process because usually our instincts.
When you say the fighting, what does that mean? We're fighting. What's the process going on in the brain?
The process of the brain is the person wants to feel calm. So whenever he feels anxious or whenever he feels depressed, there's something that he feels he needs to do about it. He can't just accept the feeling because it's too painful, too frightening, and there's a need to do something.
Male or female or human?
And human. So the same thing is relevant in Avodas Hashem as well. If a person has this frightening thought or whatever, I'm not successful anyway, I'm not going to succeed, so here a battle starts. Why should I begin? Why should I do? I anyway won't. I will. And he's constantly busy thinking and obsessing about it. Now, from acceptance, when a person reaches the point, there's a lot to elaborate about it, but the time won't allow. But as the person comes to the point of acceptance and making room, yes, here is the feeling, here in the heart is my feeling that I have. Let's just breathe into it. Let's just breathe into it. Let's just expand our lungs. Let's expand ourselves. Let's know, yes, here is a part of me which is very, very uncomfortable, very, very upsetting. And that's part of me. And let's just accept it and continue life. Although it's not the same. Although we would so much want it, things should turn out different. I shouldn't have made this mistake. I shouldn't be such a fool. Whatever. There's all kind of, in Gashmias and in Ruchnias, there's always those upsetting events that we are scared of thinking of, we don't want to think about, halavai, we shouldn't have done it, but it doesn't help us the fighting. So let's accept it. Let's open up ourselves. So that's the number one. Now comes, but the problem of the person is, there's something they call it fusion and diffusion. Fusion, like there's diffuses. So it's like connection. So the problem is when a thought comes into a person or a feeling, the person right away automatically connects to it. And here the emotions are rising, and here you get hooked onto it. And there is the feeling, let me do something about it. So the person needs to go to a process from fusion to diffuse. Basically, so let's give a metaphor. If I will be talking now let's talk about an esrog, yes? Yom Tov Sikkos, we all have an esrog, right? As I mentioned this word esrog, what happens to your mind?
Sukkos.
You right away think either about Sukkos or you think about an esrog. You see the yellow, beautiful esrog. Although I only said a word, I didn't ask you to think about anything. This naturally comes. Our mind fuses right away, connects the word esrog to the picture memory of esrog or Sukkos, or even sweet memories, what I had about anything. So this is called fusion. We are fused. Here comes a therapist. Let's say there's a therapist who wants to hypnotize his patient, his client, to get him to a certain state of mind. And here's the client who says, oh no, not with me. And then he didn't give him permission to do that. And he starts using his hypno language, talking slowly, quietly, and using certain emotions. But he starts feeling fused, like something is starting to trigger him. He's pulling him, but he's going to try to diffuse. Let's think about something else. Let's not get connected. He should not pull me with his tricks. I won't fall for his tricks. Some will allow, some won't. Depends. That's why all the hypno guys, they will always ask who wants to volunteer, and they will right away look at their eyes to see, is he a client? If not, I don't start with him. If he looks too tough, I won't succeed with him. So let's pick someone else. So this is also called fusion, because you get fused to his words and it takes you in the journey. If a person wants to diffuse from something, it's a very interesting practice. If you want to try to do it, you can do it. If you want to take the word asterisk and repeat it 100 times. Asterisk, 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 asterisk. I promise you, by the time you finish the 100th time, say the word asterisk and no picture will show up. Because asterisk turned from a fused to a picture, you diffused it. So here's what a person needs to do is always, whenever there's feelings, you gotta realize that just because a thought came into your mind doesn't mean, and a feeling starts arising, doesn't mean that you have to connect to it. Just diffuse from it. It's a much more to elaborate about it, but again, it's the concept number one. Concept to understand that all our hardships in Gashmias and Ruchnias will always be when a thought shows up and we fuse to it. Oh, because it showed up right away, so I have to think about it. When it comes to Machshava Zoros, let's give an example. And Machshava could pop in. You're not boss. The Moich brings thoughts, whatever reason it is. It's not the time now. Whatever reason it is. But the Machshava came in. You could fuse with a thought and start thinking about it. Or you could just go away. Diffuse from it. Don't think about it now. That's not a time that I want to be busy with. So there's many ways a person could just diffuse from whatever thought and feeling shows up in his mind. And this is, I would say, this is the second most powerful, important thing to do.
So let's say you're
always.
stuck in traffic and you don't like traffic. So what do? You say traffic 100 times?
Again, sorry?
Like you don't like traffic and you're stuck in traffic. So
right.
What can you do?
So let's say you are in traffic and here the feeling shows up. You're upset. I hate it. Yes. And the thought comes in. So the number one is accept it. Listen, you're stuck. You're stuck anyway. Accept it. Make room for the feeling. Yes, it is uncomfortable, but there's many more things that we could think. If I'm busy cursing, whatever, and I'm being upset and honking and trying, being edgy and agitated in our seat, you won't be able to enjoy any drasha at this point. You can't even think about possible positive phone calls you can do, or certain things you can take care while you're sitting in traffic because you're so busy with it. You're so fused with the thought, so fused with it. But if you accept, you diffuse from it. Yeah, this is what it is. And when the thought pops in again, traffic, you just diffuse. Just be busy with something else. Just because a thought is only a sequence of words. It takes a lot of exercise to get to realize that. But this is the point. Any thought, any memory is really nothing which really exists. It doesn't exist now. We'll follow to the next process. We'll explain a little better. It's just words which is in our memory. So therefore, just because it showed up doesn't mean that I need now to spend time and connect to it. It's okay.
It's like a salesman. You don't have to buy what they're selling. You're saying it's this.
Oh, yes, also
something like that.
Yes, and whenever you pass FUJ and you see there's a sale, it's something, the red big letters on the yellow sign pulls you in on the white sign. You could just, there's a S and an A and an L and an E on some canvas and just walk by. It's nothing that you don't have to think what the words mean and connect to the meaning. It's just SALE. Okay, let's move on. Same as Esrik could be that beautiful Esrik. Repeat it 100 times. I'll promise you, it will stay as a Aleph, Sof, Reish, Vav, Gimel. That's all. It's just a letter. It's nothing. It's just because our mind fuses it, that's the way it is. So whenever a Machshava Zara will show up, doesn't mean anything. You don't have to do anything. Just move on. Just move on.
So you're fighting really Yetzer Hara. Machshava Hara coming, and you just move out, you're fighting Yetzer Hara.
So sometimes we can fight it, yes. Sometimes we're just avoiding it. We're trying to do just,
someone's
don't even
working
fight
very
him.
hard and they have an old car, and maybe they want something newer.
Mhm.
They see their neighbor got a brand new red car. So every time you see the red car, it's going to be all the time. So
Right.
how do you get over those feelings?
It's a Jewish, you don't want to.
It doesn't matter, Jewish or not Jewish. The point is that
So
it's making you upset. That's
it's
not the
making you upset. Why does it make you upset? Because there's a certain thought coming into, and then you fuse with that thought, right?
Okay.
So if you want to try it, take this statement that comes into, here is the red car, and try to sing it in all kind of funny songs. And then tell me when this thought comes up again, it will have the same power and effect, or will be just diffused from the feeling. The jealousy that arises when you have these words coming up will change. So there's many techniques and many times. That's not the point here. What I'm trying just to bring the concept.
Like, why am I upset with this car? It looks like a jelly bean. What am I jealous of?
Right.
A jelly bean or something like that?
No, but I'm saying just take the statement. Wow, it's so beautiful. Why can't I have it? Now take the words, why can't I have it, and sing it in all kind of Purim songs, like funny songs.
Okay.
And say it slowly, loud, squeaky voice, screaming, all kind of change the voices.
Say, why do I need it?
Huh?
Oh, that's a good
Why do I
one.
need it?
That's even better. So you look at Chila, don't start even. We're talking about someone who's already fused. He thinks this red car should be
It
his.
says it shouldn't be.
Les Ahmed.
You learn it, yeah. You let it-
True. Here you go.
I'm not gonna say it.
So now let's just go over to values, which is very easy for us Jews.
I thought it was going in the Shovavim and Bechabad.
There's no,
In the Shovavim.
and here you see.
No, but the meiste der hebben nicht gemacht an Essen Shovavim.
Didn't make an
Sind sie gesagt,
Yeah.
heimische Kreisen.
yeah, but it's
It's gonna bring them.
right, but it was mentioned here and there, just like this,
So what's Shovavim mentioned?
because it's something that exists in the Kabbalah. It is, but we didn't make this whole thought. There's a different there how you do certain things, how you rectify. Here you go. So this is a very high level. We'll try to explain it.
Shovavim my ganz Jura.
Right, and here also you'll see that. Right, right,
Hill,
right.
once a month. We already have to hill them, so
Yes.
it's not.
So let's move into values now. Whenever a person wants to do something, yes, there has to be a reason why. And basically, when you have your value set straight, you don't get hooked on the way. Let's try to explain it better. There's a goal versus values, not versus, but the goal is the way to achieve values. The goal is something, once you reached it, you want to finish Shas. That's a goal. Once you finish Shas, you already finish Shas. If you want to be a Ben Torah, this is a value. This is something that you can always keep on growing, and learning. If you want to be a chassid, you can always keep on growing. What is chassidus? There's values. You want to be a nicer person, you can always keep on growing. You want to work on midas, you can always keep on growing. These are values. And you set goals to reach values. So values, this is something, when you start a journey of life, there's values. And you have to keep your eyes straight towards your values.
Like
So-
if a person wants to finish Shas, he can't have 4-hour meals.
Right.
Putting yourself in that sense.
No, he has to put a goal every day, 7 blot, whatever. Doesn't matter whichever program he wants to follow. So the goal would get him
Or the
to
meal is
finish.
going longer, but a person that has like the goal, he has to finish the meal, and he has to sit and put it
Right,
hours.
right. But if he wants to be a Ben Torah, 7 blot won't be enough because a betoid is a never-ending thing. You can every minute learn. So it's not a goal that you achieve. You use goals towards your values. But the values is
Or I'm saying, like, if a person is on a diet, then he shouldn't be in the ice cream shop. People that are eating healthy.
but a diet is not that's a people confuse goals with values. A diet is not a value. It's a goal. If you want to be a healthier person, maybe.
Maybe, yeah, you're not one to enter the ice cream shop. That's
Right.
a healthy
So-
person doesn't usually go there or something like that.
Whatever.
Or once in a
Yeah.
while, maybe.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Now, for a person, in order a person should achieve something, you always need values. So let's give a metaphor. Here's the person. Let's every one of us. Let's imagine we are drivers of a bus. So here's on top of the bus. There's the destination where we're heading towards. Let's say we're heading towards Montreal. Okay, so this is the destination, and we are the drivers sitting in the driver's seat. Now, and we will open our doors, to allow our passengers up. So we start our journey driving, and we stop at every bus stop. And here comes up all kind of passengers. There are those passengers that come up and show up. There are the positive passengers. Those are the ones who praise you. Oh, you're such a wonderful person. They greet you nicely, and they make you feel good. These are all the positive thoughts and feelings, emotions that arises on the person, which keeps the person going, driving, towards whatever he needs to do. And then there are the troublemakers, these all kind of troublemaker passengers that come up and they start screaming and threatening you and scaring you. Watch, where you're driving. Here's a hole. What? They get you nuts. Now, you could try to stop the bus and try to fight with them, but the problem is you'll never end. There's so much of them, you won't succeed. The good news is they can't touch you. You are shielded. They can't touch you. They can only scream. So here they are screaming, they're trying the best to scream all kind of words, which will really, really scare you and make you stop. And sometimes you'll even get lost, you'll start making a deal. You know what? If you stop screaming, you know what? I'll take you towards, I don't know, a different direction. But the end is you don't end up then going to Montreal because they get you off your way. So you always have to keep, so here's the point. If you need to know always the value, because if you have a value, if a person wants to be an Oved Hashem, if a person knows that my goal here is to do a dira b'tachtonim, that's why Hashem wanted me. So it doesn't matter whichever thoughts and feelings show up, no matter how foolish I am, what a big fool, everyone laughs about, it doesn't matter. I still have my goal, I still have my value, and I still need to drive my bus.
They have a statement that says, Sheva Yipol Tzadik Pekam.
Correct?
That's exactly what you said.
Yes. So here's the person we are driving our bus. So in order to drive our bus, we need values, and we need this fourth point, which is committed action. We have to be committed because some of the times they scream so loud, they sound so convincing that we really think maybe they are right. So you have to be committed, no matter what, no matter which feeling, no matter which thought shows up. This is what I am doing, and I will continue doing. So you set your values straight. And that's why you learn, you have to set your values straight. What am I doing? What am I standing for? What is my values in life? What am I doing? I want to daven, I want to learn, I want to spend time with the family, whatever there is, these are the values. And whenever those thoughts, disturbing thoughts or feelings show up, or whatever I'm busy with worrying, it's not taking me towards the direction that I want to go. Being hooked up with a worry doesn't help. So it doesn't help me in any way. If I have to think what I have to do, so then think. But afterwards, the extra obsessing, rethinking doesn't get us anywhere. So let's not waste our time. So here we go let's go to the contacting the present moment. So contacting the present moment is living the present moment. Whenever we are lost in thoughts and feelings, we are always lost in the future or in the past. That's where we all suffer. Even when we worry, it's not something which is tactless for now. Nothing what I have to do right now. It's something that has to do with the future or something that whatever. I know it's human nature. The mind brings it up. Whenever there's a worry, the mind will bring it up. This is what the mind is for.
But let's say you're going away for Pesach, and you're thinking about it a month ahead of time, you have good feelings about it. So what's wrong with that?
If it's positive, if it's getting you towards your values and committed action, then keep on doing it. But if it's getting you somewhere else,
What's a negative one?
what's a negative one? You try it out. I can give you many. So, and then, so Even Ezra says, yes, ha'over ayin, ha'osid adayin, ha'over the past is not here anymore, ha'osid adayin, whatever is
Whatever
supposed to be in,
was,
wahoive is kerega ayin kedaga v'nayin. Why worry? Past is very fast. But the point is, whenever a person is mindful, whenever a person lives the moment, when you learn, you are in the learning. When you daven, you are in the davening. Whatever you have to do, it's nothing which is important. Now the moment is important. Let's live the moment. So when you're busy living the moment, automatically you're not fused. You're not busy with everything. You just let everything fly. And don't even try to push away things, because fighting is being hooked on and connecting. Pushing, when you push something, your hands is
like if you
on
have
that
thoughts,
thing.
they say it's good to write them down.
What?
You have lots of different ideas, it's good to write them down.
Sometimes
Give them attention.
yes,
later.
this makes it easier. A person writes out. So there's a lot of techniques how a person could be in the present moment. Like take it off your head. There's all kinds. Say it into a voice that whatever. There's many things how you can take care of certain things. But at the end of the game, live the present moment. There's all kind of breathing exercises.
What about planning for the future?
Again, if now is the time, if this is what you want to do right now.
Things exist at the same time, living in the moment, also
Planning for the future, yes, in a positive way, yes.
How can both exist?
Of course. You can, because sometimes the present moment is something about thinking of the future. But if think of the future, something that takes you away from the present moment, then don't do it. So in Avodas Hashem, you want to sit down and learn your shir, and you're busy thinking about something, or you want to daven.
What happens if it's something you don't understand? It's very hard to be in the moment. To be in a moment where you can't connect.
So if you don't understand the moment, so okay, that's something else. But if there is a moment that you could understand, if you can be conscious enough and understand, there's the value system that I have. My focus is Shem wants me to do what His will is right now, not to be hooked on with all my worries. So this is what I have to do now. I don't understand how I can make sense out of what's happening, but I don't need to make sense about what's happening. I just need to be focused and on what I have to do, because this is what that's what counts. That's what you need to do. And then comes the part of self as context. Now, self as context is something which it's really fascinating and beautiful. There's the question, who am I? Let's look on us as we were infants, babies, as we turned to toddler age, as we became children, child years, adolescence. Who am I? Am I keeping and changing? Is the I changing? Or the I is just the same I the whole time? We know in therapy there's something which they call the little child within, but I never heard about the little baby within. I don't think any one of us still has the need of trying to nurse or to get pampered, This doesn't exist. So did we ever change? Is that new person here? Just because our body became bigger and bigger? Who am I? Who is the person? And there's the soul, which is the nefesh of the person, which this is who he is. This is what is going to be always. He was born. The guf is changing. Yes, the body is changing. The body is becoming, maturing, older and older, and as the person becomes older, his mind grows bigger and more meaningful, more intellectual and everything. But the person, the soul, the neshama, who is the person? He's the same person. Nothing changed, right? And that's why the halacha is You kill a person, you kill a baby, or you kill an adult, doesn't make any difference. The same Hilchas Ritzicha. Why? Because it's the person, it's the body that changes, evolves, whatever, but it's not the neshama. So it's we'll need a lot of explanation in order to explain it in act, but let's do it just in Avodas Hashem. So you always have to know and look at your thoughts that come in. There's the me, there's the observing self. Let's explain it. You know what? Let's explain it 1 second and act. There's the observing self, and then there is the thinking self. The observing self and the thinking self are two different. We are always aware about the thinking self. We are always aware about a person who keeps on thinking and thinking, worrying and worrying. This is the person the whole time. We are constantly having thoughts, hooked down, we're busy. But really, there's the observing self who observes what he is thinking. Basically, there's the person who is thinking. It's not so we can sit and observe and see what's going on with our thoughts. I'll give you a short exercise, but if you'll do it, you'll grasp it. If not, you won't get it. Whenever you want, you can try to stand at your window of your home, look at the passing cars, and for a few minutes, and throw your whichever thought or emotion comes up on your mind or you feel, just throw it on the car and just see it flying away. And observe what's going on. Observe as your mind keeps on bringing new thoughts, generates new thoughts, new feelings. And sometimes you'll get hooked on, oh, this is a stupid exercise. It's also a thought, by the way. Just throw it on the car and let it go. Sometimes you might feel even stupid. What is he doing? Like someone goes, what am I doing over here? It's also a feeling. It's also a thought. Just throw it on and let it go. And then you'll actually start observing self. So as we finish, and when a person comes to that point of realization, so then he understands much better not to get hooked on, not to get fused, understand the way the brain works, the way the mind works. It throws thoughts, feelings, you're getting fused, but it's the me that's going to decide what I want to do now. Just because the thought showed up on my mind, and just because I started thinking doesn't mean that I need to keep on doing it. It's the me that has values. It's the me that wants to do whatever I want to do. And then there is the intruding thoughts that come up. Just let it fly and continue towards driving your bus toward the destination that you want to drive. So let's move over to trying to explain a little Bashem Tov for a few minutes. Bashem Tov al HaTorah. So there's Bashem Tov al HaTorah Parshas Noach. So there's Ois Paites, and we'll go Paites at Tzadik Aleph.
What sefer is this from?
Bashem Tov al HaTorah.
It's on each parsha?
It's a collection, really. Really, it's from a collection of various forms from Bashem Tov, which the collector
You wrote
did.
it or someone else?
It's depends. It's very repeated from the Talmidim.
Okay.
So in Paites, the Bashem Tov says that a person needs to think. Sheba Olam Hadiber, he thought, Medaber boy, he can't even talk. In even the machshava that he has is through Olam HaMachshava. Again, Yachshav she'olam hadiber medaber boy. A person should think that the Olam Hadiber is talking through him. He is only a shofar. It's like you take a shofar and you blow. So the shofar are we, our mouth, our whatever, our sounds and everything we have is only a shofar. There is an Olam Hadiber that passes through us, that uses us as a vessel, as a shofar, as a horn to talk. And it should also be v'gam ke machshavtoi efshel liyos kim al yidei olam hamachshava. Even the thought, it's not his brain, physical brain. There's an olam hamachshava that passes through his brain. So the olam hamachshava is making use out of his thoughts. He brings the metaphor of a shofar k'mashatoike b'toichoi oisei hakol himoitze. Whatever you blow, that's the voice. If someone knows to blow, a nicer voice will come out. Someone doesn't know, and it tries to push a lot of air, it's squeaking, it's whatever, the way the shofar is. And vim yifresh b'men atakaya, if the one who blows will stop, as liyotzikol, the same you should know, he can't talk and think. Okay, now let's jump over to Tzadik Aleph. So he says, that is called davening lishma, perish l'shem hadibir. He's davening l'shem hadibir, shehadibir misave imishtoikik. The dibir is yearning, liyois dovik v'machshove. The olam hadibir wants to connect to olam ha-machshove. When a person talks with ahava, with great love and fear, hakoil v'hadibir mishtashayim zeh zeh. The koil and the dibber, the sound, the dibber is mishtashayim zeh zeh, means the machshove, and they are enjoying each other's. V'hachachme mishgachas al zeh. Now, what does this mean? What does this mean? We'll just explain it. There's a sefer here from the commander Rebbe Bachemish. He explains it very nicely in the sefer Oishiv Sayomim. That v'chachma mishgachas means there is the person, the observing the self. There's the person. V'chachma means the person. So we have to think while we are repeating the words and while we are thinking the thoughts. You start saying Hoidi Hashem. Let's thank Hashem. So at the same time, think, observe. The observing self has to come up and see what's going on. That the Olam HaMachshava, my thinking, it's not my thinking. The Olam HaMachshava is making use of my thinking brain. So, and it's connecting now with the words that I'm bringing out. So Olam HaMachshava and Olam HaDibur are connecting. And what happens in Misaneg is Ka'af Shemisanek in Benoi. And it's Misanek, like in enjoying, like a father that's having, when he meets his son. Shamachshava mishtekekis lovei b'kol. The machshava is yearning, wants to come into the voice, kashiyava b'dibur. Wants to pass through the call, the voice sounds, the sounds to come into dibur. Now it's a very deep. I won't explain it too much, but there's something called.
Thinking what you're saying.
So what happens is there's certain musicians, the real musicians, they can tell you whenever they compose a song or they sing, there's some kind of a higher spirit. They'll explain it, which really connects to them, and it's not them. It's not them. They're just, their fingers are just their, calling the tools that whatever spirit is using. So there's a certain feeling. In other words, we have to know that we are only vessels. Our Olam HaMachshove, Olam HaDibur, we're only vessels to connect those two Olamas. And Hashem is making use out of Olam HaMachshove, out of our thinking, and out of our davening, and this is connecting. Now, it's a very deep idea, but it just shows you.
What do you mean deep idea?
Understanding, davening, and this level. When you daven, saying Hoidil Hashem, to really get disconnected from yourself. Be able to see the words that you say, because who's talking now? Am I talking now? Or there's really a Olam HaMachshove now, using my mind, and I'm pushing the words, and it's connecting Olam HaMachshava and Olam HaDibur through me. It's not me. We always fuse and connect and see ourselves. We are the one talking. We are the one davening. And he says, no, Hashem Sefosai Tiftach. You open up my mouth. It's you talking. You davening. And you go through a lot of Bashem Tov HaTorah, you'll see this idea, which is lahavdul. This is what's being as the self as context, understanding it's not us. It's we are the neshama, and here's the guf, and there's usage being used. So whenever thoughts this will get us to the next level. Now let's go to even a higher level, which this is what we have here. In you turn the page, the opposite side. So there's the Mamar Maksorim from the Alter Rebbe. We have one over there, which he used to say before Peterburg, so it's very deep, and I'll try my best to explain it, and I hope I'm not mistaken. He talks about Shovavim. Since we are now Parshas Mishpatim, we're finishing Shovavim here. So what is Shovavim? Number one is a Rosh Tevis of Shmos ve'Eriel Boi B'Shalach Yisrael Mishpatim. These 6 weeks, which are Apikabola. These are special days, special weeks of connecting to Hashem, doing tshuva, and mainly of tikkun of become bris. So
One guy who wanted to charge money 72 fast instead of the money, and you know about that?
okay, whatever. So the way the Alter Rebbe explains it.
Write a letter to the Rebbe and say
So whatever he explains is like this. So he explains the Indian of Shovavim tikkun Gana bris. You can look inside. I'll just repeat it. Out getting late, so we'll have to do it a little shorter. So the Indian of Shovavim is a tikkun for the Pegam bris. He says. You see, understanding what Hashem answered for Moshe. Moshe asked the Parsha Shmos, "Ma shemoy mo oimer alayim." So Hashem answered, "Eya shelachani alaychem." And you look at Rashi, Eya is not Hashem. So Rashi says, I'll be with them now, and I'll be with them in the future. So the question is, why didn't Hashem answer that on Moshe's question? And also, why didn't it say just Hashem? What's my name? Yitkei Vovkei.
What's the question?
What's the name of Hashem? Yitkei Vovkei. So
Who are you? Or
Moshe asks Hashem, what should I answer for the Yidden?
What's your name? Yeah,
What's your name?
I will be.
You don't answer. Say your name. Yitkei Vovkei.
Okay.
You want to say the Shem HaFoirish, say the Shem HaFoirish, whatever.
Yeah.
So he says like this: Ve'inyan, ve'etze yitze. There's etze. Anyone that wants to know, it's negate him Yiras Hashem Bilvov in his heart, and he wants to go lasalach ne Hashem be'emesi betam. So he says this is the way there should be Yishkan Oir Hashem shebevade bli sofik. He says he tomet sichloi v'liboy b'chol tavoiso. A person should understand we are always stuck in the mud. Our heart and our mind is always in all kind of evil inclination. Rak kalayim. We having shebechinas Mitzrayim kidiyah. This is the bechin of Mitzrayim. Mitzrayim is not history. It was going back 3,000 years ago. Mitzrayim is something that's happening every day in every moment with a person. He is in his Hagbolas and his Mitzrayim. So he says, number one process is, the Alter Rebbe says, first, make up your mind, understand this is what's happening. Yes, you are in the mud. We can call it acceptance if you want. That's number one, yes? Right away after you conclude, okay, this is the situation, says, don't be upset about it. He should tell to himself, it's true, it's so. Why shouldn't it be so b'tzad haguf? Here is what is happening with the person. Who's the person? There's the guf, and then there is the nefesh, and we're talking about a neshama, which is even higher than just a regular nefesh. So who is here? We have the guf. So this is what a guf is all about. The give other misoidim offer, the soifel offer. He's busy with all nonsense. This is the way he was created. And that's why he has all these inclinations, all these evil inclinations. So why are you upset about? You should know that you have an neshama. You don't have even it's much higher than we spoke just before about the act. It's not only a nefesh. We have a neshama, which is a chaylik lekamamal, and therefore, because our essence is a yid, is not a regular nefesh. It's a nefesh elikis. Our essence is Hashem. Is Elov Esa Nafshi. To him, I will donate my whole life. In Boim Chovetz, I will connect to the mitzvahs. V'chikov ledovik b'terosoi. I'm going. I know now. When you look at Perek Lamed Aleph Betania, it's being explained in a little on a different point, trying to bring out simcha. The point the person should be b'simcha, although he has all these problems. He should be b'simcha, knowing that al ya'arif simchas hanefesh b'tzov and agiv, meaning to say don't mix these two things. Yes, you have the guf, you have your guf. Your guf is a problematic creature, but you have the problem child. The inner child within is wrong. Is problematic here. It's not the inner. It's your body. But at the same time, the inner child, the real person, the real essence is the neshama, which is the chelik lekamamal. And therefore, the way to connect to Hashem is, although we have our guf, is when we do Torah and mitzvahs, which this is our values, this is our committed action. We have to just connect to Hashem. And the way when you learn Torah and mitzvahs, you all learn Tanya here with the Rabbi Silverberg's wonderful shir. Tanya explains that you're becoming one. It's you're uniting with Hashem in a way. You're hugging, uniting with Hashem. There's the highest level of unity, even higher than a person could unite through marriage. Now, and now it continues and it says, you don't understand why it's so. We don't understand our neshama, but we still have it. He doesn't know why he should feel so. It's not it's not something that he realized. It's no realization. It's not that he came to understand something. There's no chachma, there's no tzidkis. It's because he has the chelik elakis, he has a neshama. It's the nature of the neshama that he wants to connect to Hashem, because he comes from them. That's what it is. And now comes once the person realizes this, and he's going to diffuse from being connected to his body, diffuse understanding. Yes, whenever there's urges show up, you get upset. How come? Where am I? What's going on with me? Why do I have all these evil inclinations? Why do I have all these pulls? I should have been much better than this by now. Number one, accept, understand that this is your body. This is what it is. This is what the goof is created from. You're not a tzaddik. You still have your goof. You didn't work it out. It's okay. But now he says there's the neshama. Diffuse from all these thoughts and all these. Let's go to the selfless context. Let's go to the neshama. Who is the person? The person is the neshama. Let's observe what's going on, and now let's connect. Let's take our values. Let's commit to Torah mitzvahs. Now, but when this process happens, the person is getting filled with love to Hashem, because he really gets connected to Hashem. He's knowing and he's telling to himself, who am I? My neshama. Let's do what my neshama wants. And he keeps on memorizing. He starts, let's obsess in a positive way on this point. Yes, this is my neshama. This is what I am. And it's no problem to obsess on this. Obsession is only wrong when it takes you away from your journey. But if this is where you want to head to, Adrabah, do it. This is the chelik atoy from obsession. Let's do it. So keep on now. So now we go to chapter 3. So when a person thinks and realizes this, what happens is, HaShekunish Baruch Hu is getting in his order, is Sahaba to the Yid also, although he doesn't find any reason why. Let's say we're not doing the right things, but when we are able to wake up by us, our real essence, our real connection to Hashem, and we start feeling Hashem, at the same point, Hashem should start loving us for no reason, just because we are His children, just because we are one. That's what He says. So He brings the posik, Hashem will give them whatever they need. It's not because you are special, not because you are doing so great. So He explains, if our love to Hashem would be for a reason, then we need Hashem should also love us for a reason. But because our love to Hashem is not because of any reason, we don't understand our soul. We only know that we are part of Him, and this is what we want to do. We want to connect to Him. And now we continue to chapter 4. This is called Elokei Avram. Elokei Avram this is what we got Berusha. It's not because there's no machshovet. It's belitam klal. This comes from the Bechina of Avram, the Bechina of Chesed, that Ahava Azeh, that we inherited from Avram. Now he explains that's called Pocket Pekadati. Hashem continued in the next psukim. Hashem says, tell the Eden Pocket Pekadati. That's because just Hashem Himself, the Ahava, the love from Hashem, is just connecting to the Eden. That's why He's taking them out from Golus. Aber der eine rakritz. It's a rotzen v'cheshik b'litam. So he continues explaining. That's why Hashem didn't say Yidkei Vovkei, the Shem Hashem, because Yidkei Vovkei is something to think about. As you learn Tanya and you know, but you davening, you want to have kavanah, you have to think about Soiviv Kalalman, Yidkei Vovkei, and this will bring you to Hava V'yira. This is still a level where you understand something. But there's the higher level, the Ekash Eya. This is where you connect to Hashem from your essence, which is higher than your thoughts. It's your real connection. So he says, so he finishes off. Let's go to chapter 5. When a person, this is what he does, he tikkun lebgam bris. This is the tikkun for begam bris. Why? So he explains. What is tshuva?
He's going to say like one of the names, and the Jews are going to ask. They're going to hop to China and ask all the questions.
When you say
Is
when
that-
you
is that
when you
why he didn't
a
want to
name
hop to
a
China?
name is a certain level. A name is a certain level of understanding. He wants you to go higher than your understanding. Just bring up your neshama, connect to Hashem from your inner soul, and this is the tikkun of Gabris. He
He wanted
explains why.
emotional connection.
Not only emotional connection, you're connecting your inner soul to Hashem. You are revealing your soul. You're revealing your essence. Your neshama is a chelik l'kam. What? Just by knowing it and committing to doing Torah mitzvahs. That's what it says in chapter 2. Then when a person says to himself that this is mitzad the guf, but I have a neshama, and he starts pushing towards the neshama, connected to the neshama. Let's do Torah mitzvahs. Let's connect to Hashem. Just because we have our neshama. I don't understand why, but this is what my neshama wants. This is what Hashem wants from me. This is what I'm going to do for him, because it's my nature. It's the nature of the neshama to connect to Hashem, because it's a chelik l'kam amal. And the nature of fire is to run to the shoyrish. The nature of everyone is to go to his shoyrish.
I know the feels that happen along the way.
So all the feel is in mitzad the guf.
You have
That's called fused to the guf. Let's diffuse from the guf.
started from Stein.
Not okay. So whenever you have the nefila, so you're fused now. Now let's diffuse. Let's just let it go. Let's connect again.
How do you rectify the other?
So how do you rectify the over? That's what he says. The fascinating thing here is you can rectify by regular process of Shiva. Say Shamnu Vidi, Shamnu Begamnu, right? Karate. But this is even a higher, much higher level of Tshuva. Why? Because once you really connect to your neshama, you start living a different state of mind. It doesn't exist. It doesn't exist something else.
Why do you have all these sekutim, tanesim?
It's because as long we are stuck, this is what we need to do.
We don't do that today.
Now, okay, we have to learn against tshuva. You have to repeat against tshuva to understand. It depends. So there's this tshuva Allah, this tshuva tata, there's different levels. But let's finish up this point here. So he says, when a person does this, the person fell. Yes, he fell because pegam bris. This is a very big pegam. What is tshuva? Ushameshiv nishmasa l'shasha. He returns the neshama to his shayrish. If a person starts living this state of mind, this level, it's not something he won't fall even, because it keeps you connected the whole time. Like after all pechis that a person is misboinen after it, because when you are in the state of mind where you are busy doing tshuva, that means you exist. It's my goof that exists, and I have to rectify my goof. I feel bad about what happens. You are connected to your goof, and you understand your goof. Then there is nefila always there. But once you're able, nefila means you fall, you trip. Yes, but once you're able to live the life of neshama, your neshama is living. Once your neshama is living, there's no nefila over there, because it's you are really connected to Hashem. Now I'll conclude with a story. I know it's a hoich madrage, but we always know that every point is relevant to certain moments. There's certain moments in life that a person could live. This is basically what we learned now. You look at all the program of Tanya from Yitches all the way that we were now, is about a person living a certain life, living a life of neshama. Whatever. It's a different way of living the life of connecting to the neshama. So there's a story, I forgot the name. There was a chassid from Tzemach Tzedek that it was rich and it did a big tov. You know, remember the name? Did a big tov for the Tzemach Tzedek. The Tzemach Tzedek gave him a bracha that be nostalgic, won't die before he does tshuva. He was old and he was sick and he started to goises. And it was in the matzav of Gesisa for 3 days. Hever Kaddish was sitting there. And all of a sudden he opened his eyes and he saw the Hever Kaddish there. He started laughing. He was a real chassid. Started laughing. Why are you sitting here? I got a bracha from my Rebbe that I won't die without tshuva. And I'm far, far, far away from tshuva. He realized at that point, there's the guf, and I'm stuck with my guf. And who's my real me? It's my neshama. So I'm so far away from the neshama. But in true essence, at that point, he connected to his neshama. That's why he said, I'm so far, far, far away from tshuva. He right away passed away. So this is the Tikkun Shovavim.
That's acceptance.
Thank you.
You see, the Zohar is very, very.
About
calmer about the-
of course. Of course.
What does they say? It doesn't
No, so Tanya Nagerza Tshuva explains it doesn't help Shiva a lot. Shiva the Torah. Shiva law helps. This is Shiva.
That has a saying that they don't care for Steiner. Shiva help them powers.
Blow them off. Correct.
How many people did have that? I got a shit.
I think it was last week. I was
Ja, verder nee. Nee, dat is de genoeg. Gaan we maar.
I didn't know.
Raise your hand. That's what you not. Did or
He didn't die yet.
Eric, did not.
She has some fast. We have Yeshivram. Okay, we have 6.
Okay, smells.
Yes, nothing yet.
Smells not dirty word.
You have 10
We have 10. We have 10.
I got him already also, but I'm ready to see him with the minion.
That's what Shnema is. Look, we're not talking.
But Snell, it looks like you have an appointment.
I think it was last week. We were talking about chapter 26 about learning Kabbalistic.
You know, this why it's good because I have an issue.
Did I understand?